Well, um, yeah, I think I should probably put my earphones in, AirPods, whatever it is you want to call it. Um, so let's see. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm somewhat back. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. All right, cool. And I haven't even really been announcing when I would go live, but I just decided, man, you know, I need to be more consistent with what it is that I'm doing here. Um, but yeah, today, I want to talk about never giving up, never quitting. You know what I mean? Never quitting on yourself. First and foremost, because there's gonna be other people that are gonna be around you, and they may see the moves that you're making, whatever those moves are, and they may look at the moves and they might think to themselves, "Oh, I don't think this person's gonna make it," based on what their estimation is of who you are, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that these things are true, right? But their estimation of who you are, um, they may feel as if you're not capable of taking on great things, whether those great things be things that you shared with them or just in general. They just don't think you're gonna amount to nothing. But regardless of how people feel about you on the outside, right? What matters is, you know, how you feel about yourself, right? So how you feel about yourself is what's gonna, ultimately hold the most weight. So regardless of how people feel about you, you can't afford to quit on yourself. And, you know, in particular, right? And as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna slow up because this message, what I mean, this message needs to actually reach some people. So I'm gonna wait for some people to, actually hop in, first before we actually get deep into that. Um, and as a matter of fact, in the meantime, I just so happen to have brought um my MacBook with me. So yeah. Mhm. Yeah, somebody sent me the same message like 3 times. Not entirely sure they knew they were doing that. But okay. But yeah, so regardless of how people, outside of you feel about you, it's pivotal that you don't give up on yourself. You know what I mean? You can't give up on yourself. You can't afford to do that, right? You can't afford to see yourself the way other people see you, right? Whatever their assessment is, of you, it doesn't define who you are. Like you can't give people that much power over you. You know what I mean? And again, it doesn't matter who those people are. It does not matter who those people are at all. What's good, Caleb McClure? Welcome. I haven't seen you before. Um, you know, Thank you so much. I appreciate you for tapping in. Um, Response media. Okay, cool. Yeah, because you know, oftentimes, it doesn't occur to us because we're actually living through the process of how people around us, our environment, our parents, the people that are taking care of us, the people that, you know, we want to be cool with, the people that we want to perceive us in a certain type of way. It's like we don't realize how much those things are constantly molding us, right? So it molded us in the beginning, right? And then it continues to mold us throughout life unless, right, we go inward, right? Take possession. of your own programming. Take possession of your own mind, right? And I don't mean it in a way where you take possession of it and do something reckless with it, but I mean, in terms of taking possession of it, um, in order to build a closer relationship with your true self, your higher self. You know what I mean? And as time progresses, I do feel as if people are becoming more and more aware of who we truly are, to be completely honest with you. But again, you know, hold on one second. That's who that is. Uh, but yeah, I'm sorry, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was, I mean, it's not even really that important, but but yeah, it's pivotal that we don't quit on ourselves, man. We don't quit on ourselves. You can't, you know what I mean? I can give you a multitude of examples where people have counted me out, where people have not viewed me the way that I viewed myself. And there was points and times where, what I mean, in the past, because like I'm not gonna sit up here and you know what I mean, because you will have people that be like, oh, I never let these people get to me or whatever. It's been times in the past when those things have happened. You understand what I'm saying? It's been times when those things have happened. Um, this dude, Blue Blah, bro, come on, man. Don't be inappropriate, bro. I gotta ban you for that. Um, I'll use this from this channel. Yeah, so before we were just really interrupted. Yeah. But anyway, you can't like I can't sit up here. I'm not gonna sit up here and just pretend like there's never been times, in the past where, people have, kind of gotten to me in that way, right? But I just never stayed there. I just didn't dwell, you know what I mean, in those in that perception of who I am, right? So even at times when that did happen, and it's like sometimes somebody might have an assessment of you or maybe a criticism of you or whatever it is, and to you it may not necessarily reflect reality, but sometimes there are times where it's not just subjective, but other people kind of view you in a certain way. But at the end of the day, again, ultimately what matters the most is the way that you view yourself. So me now at the point where I'm at this time of my life, yeah, I don't allow other people's opinions to um affect me, right? If that makes sense. Um Russell says John 3 verse 16. Actually, isn't that the if God so loved the world? Big up yourself, man. Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But this ain't really a religious platform, but I do know for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? Um Sometimes you need to have short memory of negative comments and influences. Yeah, short memory, it's crazy because sometimes it's very difficult to just turn your memory off, right? So I would say focus, you know what I mean? Like I would say like shift your attention away from, what I mean, the negativity. Because it's like it could be there, right? Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Things people have said to me, I'm not gonna front like it's not there. Like the negative things that people have said to me, like it's not there. It's just that it doesn't affect me in a way that it would affect me if I was there focusing on it, dwelling on it. Like it's there, but I'm just not fixated on, what I mean, the negativity that so it's not, it's not something that I just forget. Nah, I remember what you said, but it just doesn't have that effect on me. Like it's cool. Like you said it, you have your opinion, and everybody has opinions. Like people are gonna have their opinions. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, all right, cool. That's what you think. That's what you think. That's okay, right? So everyone doesn't have to conform with the way that I see myself, right? Everyone doesn't have to see it. You know what I mean? Everyone has their own way that they view the world. Like I'm sure there's people that you may not like, right? There may be people that are like actually, people that know him. They're like, oh man, this guy's pleasant, the greatest ever. Um, but yeah, so like I remember a lot of the things that people have said, right? But it's just that I just don't allow it to just drain my energy, take my energy. Whereas before there was a period in time when it was very easy for that to happen, right? Especially when I was a young kid. when I was a young kid, man, I was not taking tolerating nobody's disrespect. I was not taking or tolerating nobody saying something that I didn't like, right? But if you think about that, you'll just be going through life just reacting to the things that people are doing and saying. Like you'll just be going through life allowing external forces and external people, right, to have control over you. And when ultimately the only thing that you have control over is what you direct your energy towards. That's it. Whatever you put your energy to, that's what you have control over. So where are you gonna put your energy? Right? I can't put my energy on the negative things that were said to me in the past. I can't put my energy into those things. If anything, I'm using those things, those negative things that were said as fuel, as motivation. It's still energy, right? Don't get it twisted. It's still energy. But you know what I mean? It's not energy that we're fixated on. It's not energy that we allow to have power over us. Like it's not energy that I'm gonna allow to have power over me, right? Um, but yeah, ultimately that's just how it go. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes ultimately, you know? Yes, yes. You know what's crazy? And this is kind of like a little side thing as well, right? I would talk about and usually because I told you guys I would stop talking about politics, and I have to a degree, but you know, sometimes some of these things, this kid, man, get out of the road with the bike. Are you kidding me? Like, but sometimes these things kind of happen, and it just makes you kind of question things, right? So right now, right, people are demanding the Epstein files. Like before Trump was elected, right? Before all of these things happened, right? I was questioning his association with Epstein, right? And I did a little research and a little investigation for myself, but you know what I mean? For me, it's like, I don't know. I think Obama was kind of just willingly just gave up his birth certificate. Like, why? This is something like everyone needs to know in order to keep the children safe who's on that list. Everyone needs to know who's in the Epstein file. Like everybody needs to know what's going on, right? People need to know what's going on. People need to know who to beware of. You know what I mean? So I feel like that should have just been a no-brainer. That should have been something where that never should have been blocked. And I just, you know what I mean? I'm just not understanding what's taking so long for that. Like giving us stuff nobody asked for. Nobody asked for the MLK files, right? Nobody asked for John F. Kennedy files, right? And you know, great men, especially Dr. Martin Luther King. You understand what I'm saying? Based on everything that they did for you know, what I mean, Black Americans and you know, and the world at large, right? And John F. Kennedy and everything that John F. Kennedy has done. Great people, right? Great people. Mwah, creme de la creme. But at the end of the day, it's like this. In this current time that we live in, right? We have, you know, people that are in power and positions of power, right? That to me personally, that I feel like are a danger to the kids, or a danger to society, a danger to the world. You understand what I'm saying? And this is not necessarily me singling any particular individual out to say, all right, this person is on that on this file you understand what I'm saying? But why is it so difficult to get hands on that? Like people need to know what's on that. Like I want to see for myself what's going on, right? If you're a parent or you're a big brother or whatever it is that you are, like you need to be aware of these things. Like these are things that you need to know. You understand what I'm saying? And anybody preying on kids, man, like I ain't got absolutely no sympathy for you at all. None. Right? But you know, this person was voted in the White House. You know what I mean? And people knew that he had you know, very, very sketchy, shaky past, shaky present. And, you know, here we are. Right? Uh, but yeah, you know. But anyway, I digress. Because that's something I just, you know, because I'm at a there's a playground right here. I'm at a park. There's a park here. There's a neighborhood over here, and you hear the kids. So it's like it's something where it's like, yo, why isn't that something that's released? You know what I mean? That's something that affects children. You know. But yeah, that's my subjective opinion, and I think the collective consciousness of a lot of Americans, and not just Americans, but also people around the world. There's a lot of people around the world that do believe that this is something that needs to be released, right? Like we need to know. Like I keep hearing names like Jelaine Maxwell and this person and that person, and but like we need to know the whole thing. I stopped following the the Diddy situation a very long time ago, right? But this is something that I was telling a lot of people about it. Some of the things that Diddy was accused of doing, yes, I do believe that he did some of the things that he was accused of doing. But you know what I mean, and I've said it in the past where it's like, yeah, you know what I mean, he's just a a freaky dude. That's just what it is. You understand what I'm saying? But I felt like there was a lot of people that consented with a lot of what it is that was going on with Diddy. There were a lot of adults that were involved in those situations and that were allowing Diddy and those people that were around. Like these people were all of them were into all this sort of stuff, right? But it was very easy to gain access to what it is that he was doing. What's up, Jay? Jay says, where do you get your good energy from? In my opinion, most people in power are so motivated by the wrong things. Not all, but a lot. I'm going to have a blessed day, man. Hey, bro, have a great day, man. Thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate you, Brody. But in order to answer your question, you said, where do I get my great energy from? Bro, like I meditate. You know what I mean? I meditate. I try to focus on positivity. I try to what I mean? Where I fixate my energy, where I focus my energy on, I try to focus my energy on positivity and things that I can't change. The things that I can't change, like for instance, you know what I mean? My grandmother did something, right? I'm not gonna get into too much details about what it is that she did. But before she did this thing, I told her, listen, you should cross your T's and you should dot your I's. This particular thing right here, I think you should consider looking into this first before you proceed to do what it is that you're doing. She neglected to do so. Today, the thing that she was applying for, she was denied. And the reason why is because the thing that I told her to pay attention to, she didn't address that thing, right? And what did I do? Was I upset with her? A little bit. Did I get lost in my emotions? No. Did I overreact? Mm-mm. It's like, hey, am I going to say I told you so? Yes, I am going to say I told you so. Right? Because before you went and did this, this is something that you should have addressed. But now that you've been denied what it is that you were looking for, right? I'm gonna tell you that right? This is something that we discussed. And then I just put it out like, and then she's all riled up about the situation. Me, I just kind of just brush it off. You know what I mean? It happened. It's done, right? Maybe next time when you're about to partake, or next time when you're about to do something, right? Um, maybe keep an ear open, maybe listen to somebody else's suggestion. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe not just go off of your perspective, but at the end of the day, it's like this, man. Like I'm not gonna, you know what I mean, lose my cool, you know what I mean, or anything like that. Me telling you that I told you so that is so that in the future, whenever, if ever these things occur, and I do give advice, whether solicited or unsolicited, when I do give this advice, maybe you'll take heed the next time. So the next time you'll be like, yo, damn, I remember the last time, my grandson told me not to do this, or, you know what I mean, and this happened, or whatever it is, or whomever. It doesn't even have to be your grandma, it could be whoever, right? And I didn't listen to what it is that he was saying. I didn't listen to his suggestion. This happened. So maybe next time when he makes a suggestion, maybe at least I could just listen. And not about being in control of nobody, right? It's about, hey, listen, what you're doing over there, it's probably not gonna work. Maybe try things this way. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's where we at with that. You know, that's where we at with that. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tapping in. I will be back. I'm gonna continue to do these live streams, man, motivating people, and just keeping this, this good energy, this positive energy. And I mean, like, it's just what it is. Like, somebody got to do it. You understand what I'm saying? And the only way you could actually really change the world, right, is by changing yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Or um, not necessarily just changing yourself, but by actually becoming who it is that you feel like can change the world, or becoming who it is that will change the world. Yeah. Anyway, guys, take care, everyone. We'll be back maybe later, maybe tomorrow, who knows? But we're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep consistency again. I promise you, I will not be gone for as long as I was before. Thank you, guys. Take care.